It's really my sincere pleasure and honor to welcome you all here today. It's just our opportunity to honor you as graduates and with your families. And we're just so glad that you're all here. And just to let you know some of the folks that are here from the university to help us celebrate. To my left, Dr. Reed Skull. He is an associate dean in the Outreach School, and he's the division head for Outreach Credit Programs. Next to him is Dr. Timothy Rush, who's a professor in the College of Education. Next to him is Dr. Scott Seville, who is also an associate dean. He's a professor in zoology. He runs the Embry program. He's got lots of titles. And next to Dr. Seville is Dr. Tammy Agard, and she is the registrar for the University of Wyoming and drove up from Laramie this morning. And back in the back there, trying to hide, is Diane Davis. Raise your hand, Diane. And Diane does undergraduate advising for all of our outreach arts and sciences majors. And next to Diane is my right arm, the other Amy Schmidt, who works in helping us run this office here. And we're also lucky to have Wayne Nichols here to cover the event for the Riverton Ranger. And on the camera back there is Allie Grossman, and she's shooting this for UW Television. And we'll start with opening remarks from Dr. Skull.
Thank you, Amy. When I was driving over here, I did not realize that I was going to speak today, and so I'm going to have to be careful to be brief. But I do want to thank Amy for her fine work in, kind of bringing people together in the Riverton area and beyond. And she's one of my most valued colleagues in the Outreach School. And I imagine that she's done a lot. If the graduates here think back on their educational experience, they're going to be thinking about Amy McClure and the things that she's done to promote their educational opportunities. And so, Amy, I just want to salute you and say what an honor it is to be your colleague and to encourage you to keep up the great work that you do. And you'd also think with the list of guest speakers that are coming up that I came here just to listen to the speakers. But actually the reason I came here and I drove from Casper this afternoon is because I've been to these graduations before, and I find the speaking from the students to be most inspiring. The mission of the Outreach School, incidentally, is to extend the benefits of the university across the state of Wyoming and beyond. While it sounds simple, that's a very challenging job, and it keeps me and many, many people within the Outreach School busy, working with technology and people and the university leaders. And so when I come here, I'm never disappointed to remember what we do is all about. And that's about learning and helping students fulfill their educational dreams and aspirations. And to hear the stories of all of the challenges and the joys and the pitfalls and the barriers that you all have overcome to make your dreams come true is really not only an inspiration to your colleagues, but it's even an inspiration to stodgy administrators like myself who have been out of school many, many more years than I care to admit. So let me just finish by saying to the graduates, congratulations. And I look forward to hearing from some of you this afternoon. Thanks so much.
Next, Dr. Scott Seville is just going to extend some words of congratulations.
Thank you, Amy. I just have to comment. I've got some notes today. One of the things I do is travel around the state quite a bit, and I was at a reception a couple of days ago, and somebody said, "Could you give a few remarks when you come?" And I said, "Well, certainly." And so I said, "This is wonderful," and I spoke for about 15 seconds, and I sat down, and afterwards they came up and said, "Is that all you were gonna, that's all you had to say?" So I'm a little better prepared today. First, I want to extend congratulations to all the graduates on the behalf of the entire university community, particularly President Tom Buchanan, Provost Myron Allen, and Vice Provost and Dean of the Outreach School, Maggie Murdoch, and the deans of all the respective colleges, the faculty and the staff. And importantly, congratulations on behalf of all the people you may or may not know that work in the UW Outreach School, whose goal, as Reed told you, is to extend the university's educational programs to the people of Wyoming and beyond. These include academic coordinators like Amy McClure and her able assistant, Amy Schmidt, Amy's 1 and 2, as I call them. And you probably know them, but there are also literally hundreds of other people, UW people working behind the scenes to maintain the video and audio systems, working with faculty to identify, develop, and present courses and programs across the state, and many other things that I won't list here. All of us, I mean, this is what we live for, are extremely proud of what you all have accomplished today. Excuse me. I also want to thank our partners at Central Wyoming College, in particular President Joanne McFarland and Vice President Jason Wood, and all the administrators and the faculty and staff here in Riverton, because we couldn't do this without them. We share facilities, we coordinate schedules, they provide important feedback on what we do and how we can do it most effectively. Now, as an Associate Dean in the Outreach School and the individual that oversees the regional centers serving students and residents across the state, one of my annual highlights is getting to travel to as many UW Regional Center graduation celebrations as time and weather permit. And this morning I was wondering if this might be one that weather would not permit. It was freezing in Casper this morning. It's at these regional center graduations where I hear wonderful stories of students rising above and beyond to achieve their goals. Stories where families, partners, friends, and communities have likewise helped someone reach a life goal. Stories where individuals have discovered the value of education and have taken positive steps to enhance their lives. And at this time, I'd like to ask all the families and spouses, the children, parents, and good friends of the graduates to stand up. Now, I also want to quote Gary Bolden here for you graduates. Your families are extremely proud of you. You can't imagine the sense of relief they are experiencing right now. This would be a most opportune time to ask for money. That was a joke, okay. All right, so this is a big day. It's a day that marks a major accomplishment in your life and concludes one period, that as a college student, and begins another as a college degree or advanced degree holding citizen in your community. Granted, your experience as a student has likely been a bit different from the typical on-campus type of student, as you've juggled family, work, community responsibilities, and other issues. But there are some important similarities. You took the same curriculum from the same faculty that are members of the same departments with the same educational standards and expectations as your campus colleagues across the state in Casper and in Laramie. Thus, your degree from the University of Wyoming is truly a UW degree. And trust me, you will hear from the UW Foundation at some point in the near future as well. Now, the university community also wants to thank you for, as students, you've contributed to making the institution what it is. Lawrence A. Lowell once said, "Of course, there's a lot of knowledge in universities. The freshmen bring a little in, the seniors don't take much away, so knowledge sort of accumulates." So thank you for that. Now, I just want to take a moment to reflect back on your experience at UW. And I think there are a couple of things to highlight. Some things that occurred by design, some things that just sort of happened. But hopefully the sum total of these experiences help you move forward as a person, a professional, and as a citizen. Most obviously, receiving your degree indicates you are a person knowledgeable to a certain level in a particular discipline. This will hopefully open new doors to you in your current position, maybe opportunities to pursue other positions, and maybe opportunities you haven't imagined yet. And a baccalaureate degree also means you've taken a well-rounded selection of courses, the general education requirements, that indicate to the world that you have an understanding of matters other than in your discipline, that you have an appreciation for other ways of thinking and living, that you've read widely, thought deeply, and explored the world and human existence in this world. With this experience, hopefully you also have a hunger to learn and experience more. And importantly, you've developed behaviors and the habits of the mind that make you a critical thinker and a positive contributor to your workplace, profession, and community. You've had to jump a lot of hoops, but life is about jumping hoops and navigating complex systems. And whether it comes with working for a large organization or finding your way through the myriad phone networks and answering machines of an agency or a large corporation, hopefully you're better prepared to navigate. Now, ideally you've had a wonderful experience with UW, but maybe on occasion we've tried your patience. Maybe you've had to deal with an individual having a bad day. Perhaps a form was misplaced, a website didn't work, or a video conference went down during a stimulating conversation in class. But you made it through, you're still standing, and maybe you've developed ways to cope with these kinds of inconveniences, incompetence, or failed technology. And a final point about your education, it's clear the world is moving fast and that although this event marks the end to a degree program, it does not mark the end of your education. In fact, I would bet that many of you will return to school in the not too distant future to pursue an advanced degree or additional training, and I'll bet we see many of you at UW again. The psychologist B.F. Skinner said, "Education is what survives when what has been learned has been forgotten." The poet Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The things taught in schools and colleges are not an education, but the means of an education." And finally, an unknown author said, "The purpose of a liberal education is to make you philosophical enough to accept the fact that you will never make much money." But you're done, and it's time to move on. And I would encourage you to take a few hours, a few days, a week, take a vacation, rest up, get your feet back under yourselves, and prepare to learn more. A couple of quotes to finish on. You are educated, and this is from Tom Brokaw. You are educated. Your certification is in your degree. You may think of it as the ticket to the good life. Let me ask you to think of an alternative. Think of it as your ticket to change the world. And last, from Woody Allen, the film director and comic, it is clear the future holds great opportunities. It also holds pitfalls. The trick will be to avoid the pitfalls, seize the opportunities, and get back home by 6 o'clock. So congratulations, everybody. It's a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. And next, Dr. Tim Rush. He has been a supporter of this celebration for many years and was actually here teaching an on-site class today, and so was able to help us out again. So, Dr. Rush.
I'm going to read these books to you. No, I congratulate you all as a group. You know, it's not a one-person operation to obtain a degree or an advanced degree at any university, and I think that's particularly true for folks like us who were non-traditional students. I came out of the Air Force into the University of Minnesota years ago, and I found, to my delight, after high school as a C+ student who worked full-time from the time he was about 14 until he graduated, that if, this is something that my grandson as a 17-year-old just discovered. He says, "You know, Mom, if you just keep up with your assignments, this isn't too hard." right? It was a little harder when I had to feed myself at the same time, but you know, unlike some of you, I had the GI Bill to support me, and I think when I took my first teaching position after, you know, after college, I actually took a cut in salary. I think my first teaching assignment was a 9-month contract for $6,500. But only 3 years earlier, that beginning salary had been $3,800, so I felt like we were making progress. And, you know, I feel like education has done well by me. And I try to repay that. So today, I'll start with a quote that I heard from a young African scholar in America down in Laramie who was 22 years old and being intimidated by his 30-year-old fellow African who was trying to tell him how he ought to study and live his life. And the young man said, "Why do you think you should be able to tell me what to do?" And the older fellow said, "Because I am older and wiser than you are." And the young man said, "Age is not wisdom." So don't think because I'm standing up here as an old guy that I'm necessarily wise, but I do have some ideas to share with you. So they go like this. I've been in higher education for, counting my time as a student, over 40 years. And I've always thought of higher education as what happens after secondary education, after high school, right? Well, this morning I was recalling when my grandson was little. He said, "Grandpa, will you help me hire my bicycle seat?" What he meant was raise my bicycle seat. That's what education is, friends. You know, it's how we raise ourselves up. It's how we raise up our families. It's how we raise people around us. Maybe how we raise our people and our nation. It's uplifting to self and others. Here's a truth that, and I'll try to talk in terms today of things that seem to be truths to me. Truth number one. Every little girl is somebody's grandma, and every little boy is somebody's grandpa. And around here, you can see the reality of that because you can see the old people, the old ones, in the faces of the children that you serve, in the faces of the people who come into McDonald's in front of you or behind you, or that you see around town. I treat people with kindness and respect. I teach that to kids. I teach them this sign, the friendly reminder sign. I treat others with kindness and respect. How is what I just did showing kindness and respect to anybody? Right? How is that cigarette I just smoked or that beer I just drank showing kindness and respect to me? When you think that way, you change your behavior. And that, in a way, is what education is about. Every little kid is somebody's grandma or grandpa. So I wrote this poem on that subject a few years ago. The scholars of genetics have hit upon a truth I came to know some years ago when I became a grandpa to a little boy and looked upon his face and saw my own. As through a magic mirror back some 50 years. I kept my observations to myself, but old albums and faded pictures on the shelf revealed to others the self-same features. A man and boy so much alike. Not just in the way we look, but also in the way we move when hard at work or play, or how our tempers flare when we're losing at some game, or how we both love songs and books and lose ourselves in daytime dreams of ponies and flashing brooks. It skips a generation, the scientists have found. So young parents shouldn't be plumb thrown to find in kids they thought their own. Their parents, returned to childhood, are coming back around. That's cowboy poetry etiquette says I tip my hat now so you know I'm done. That's all right. I refer to a truth that I learned from Carl Rogers as I first became a teacher, that we are all on the road to becoming better or worse. And the people around us help determine if we do get better or worse. He called those people significant others. the significant people, spouses, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, mothers and fathers, teachers, friends, are significant others in our lives, and how they treat us tells us if we're good or bad, if we're getting better or not, if we're worthwhile or not worthwhile. My first employer, a wise fellow by the name of Leo Hanvik, said, here's the deal. This is what you teach. This is what you believe if you're a teacher. I am what I think you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. The feedback that we give to each other determines how we feel about ourselves, right? I grew up with a bunch of boys whose dads were, we didn't at the time, it was just after World War II, and post-traumatic stress disorder had not been invented. But there were still guys carrying it around, and these fellows typically were very hard on their sons. Right? Called them names, couldn't find anything right with them. These kids thought that they were bad, and they became bad, or they became suicides, or they ended up in jail. Fortunately, I didn't have many interactions with my own dad, but the ones I had were positive. Built me up, made me feel like I was somebody. Remember that. Treat others with kindness and respect. Treat the earth with kindness and respect. J. Frank Dobie wrote a long time ago in a book called The Mustangs, great book if you're interested in the West and in horses. He said, the earth does not think and does not care what people think, but it gives and takes with undeviating justice, and it remembers. There are other reasons for treating others with kindness and respect. I respect some of my horses in different ways than I respect others. I respect them because they're fearful, they've been mistreated in their early lives, and they can be dangerous. But generally, I treat people with respect and treat horses with respect because I believe that everyone is innately good and kind. Well, I think there are four words to families, and we're all part of one big family, right? Some of us are more closely related to each other than others, but there are four words that begin this way, with the letter P. The first word is to young people, and that word is promise. You are a promise. You are a possibility. You're a great big bundle of potentiality. Do you know that song? Okay, you can Google that song. I am a promise, I am a possibility. It's wonderful. To elders, I would say practice or model. Right? It isn't what we think we taught, but how we treated others that sticks with our kids. We are always teaching, especially when we don't intend to be teaching. Model. Practice. To the graduates, persist. Never give up. Never give in. Never lose track of your rule. You're here. You treat people with kindness and respect. You treat the earth the same way. You treat all of creation in that way. Life gets easier if you can live by that rule. Has for me, at least, since I've learned it from kindergartners years ago. The next word is pretend, and that's for everyone. Pretend. If you want to be a teacher, pretend you are a teacher. If you want to be a doctor, pretend. And pretending will help you take the little steps that are required to get to your goal. Right? If you have trouble avoiding that third dessert at night, right? Pretend that you're a person who doesn't need the dessert. If you want to be a star cross-country runner, pretend you are and your workouts get easier. Pretend. There's a morning pledge and prayer that I read on the wall of a school out at Fort Washakie, third grade classroom, about 5 years ago. It goes like this. The morning prayer and pledge goes like this. I am a special, smart, and valuable person. I respect myself. I respect others. May my words and actions make my ancestors proud because I am their representative. I am proud to be me. And in bold letters under the banner were these words. Remember who you represent. Remember who you represent. This is a good place to stop. I won't read you the 2 books. But I will remind you what Scrooge said, or Marley said to Scrooge early in this book, The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. He said, mankind was my business. Mankind is our business. We are educated people. We are educated people. We can make a difference with kindness, respect, and the view of mankind and its improvement as our work. Thank you.
Dr. Tammy Agard will have some final remarks for us, but first, this is the time on your program where we always like to give the graduates an opportunity to speak. And a lot of times it's just to your family and your words of appreciation for how you've been supported. And it's just a good time for you to express some thoughts. So Flora, you're kind of the first one that's here on the program. Would you like to, you're welcome to stay where you are, to come forward, whatever is comfortable for you. Do you want to come forward?
Hello, I'm Flora Dewey. I really don't know what I'm going to say. I was kind of hoping that Travis Clark was here so that I could be second. I was like, I hope he's here. But it took a lot to get here where I'm at right now. I've been through a lot of struggles, and I'm glad my sister's here. Fred is here. We just buried my sister yesterday, so just time just keeps going, and it's really hard. And I'm just glad that my family's here, my support's here, and I see my grandma Lucy over there, and Joan's here, and Veronica, Christine, Linda. It's really good to see everybody. And everyone else. It's really been a struggle. And I told my sister I wasn't going to cry, so I'm really a little shaky here. But I'm glad I made it here. Thanks to Amy, where I was really struggling. I almost gave up. I had Fred and my boys. I'm just glad to be here. Thank you.
And I will tell you, Travis is in Salt Lake taking his wife to an eye doctor appointment, or you would have gotten to go second, Flora. And Amy Hansen was one of the people we were waiting for who was next on there, and she had a baby like on March 25th, and right in the middle of school, and before anyway, it's been crazy. But we thought she'd be here today, but we're missing her. But Kelly Jones is here.
Well, I'm glad Flora was here, so I didn't have to go first. I'd like to thank Amy especially. She's really been a great support for me. I'd like to thank my friend Jim and all my family and my little granddaughters. You go to school and do good. That's all I have to say.
Linda Bender was also supposed to be here, and something came up at the last minute, so she's not able to be with us. And next up is Cassie, and you'll note on your program I have her as Hubanka, but my bad, she has been married since, and we didn't get her name changed to Holdren on the program, but Cassie's here.
I would mainly like to thank my family and my husband Joe, who's not here today, for always supporting me in everything that I do and all the decisions that we have made. Without my family, I know that I would not have been able to graduate. My parents have always been there, and always, anytime I needed anything, were always there. And of course, my little sister, she always has something smart-ass to say to keep me going. And I'd also like to thank, in general, the university. Without the outreach school, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish my dreams and to even keep moving forward. And also Amy, of course, she was always a support and helped me whenever I needed her. So thank you very much.
And next is Monica. Monica actually graduated with her first bachelor's degree last year in social science. She's completing a second bachelor's in psychology at the end of the summer, and she's been accepted into the graduate program in adult education at the university in the fall.
Well, thank you, Amy. I just want to thank everybody, all my friends and family, for everything they've done for me. I want to thank the people at the outreach program, because really I couldn't have done this, like Dr. Reed had said, with family and job and everything else you have going on in your lives. If we didn't have this kind of program, I could have never done this. But, so thanks to everybody, especially you, Amy, for all your support. Thank you.
And then we have to skip down a couple people for various reasons. As you all know, everybody has busy lives that could not be here. But Mary Kilgore is here, and Mary is part of the first statewide pilot program in elementary ed being delivered distance. And Mary had to give up quite a lot to realize her goals. So come forward, Mary.
Thank you. Thanks for the ones that went before me. I'd like to thank my family for being there, my husband for paying my tuition. I'd like to thank the outreach school, Amy for all the times I called there panicked and just not knowing what to do, and Dr. Rush for getting back to me in the middle of the night when I sent him panicked emails about, I don't know what's going on. And the outreach program for opening the pilot program. It was a struggle. I learned all about hoops. I know about the hoops, and I would also like to thank the kids that wrote the thing that Dr. Rush wrote from Fort Washakie School, or that he read to you. Those were the very first group of kids that I worked with, and they were the ones that helped me to realize that, man, I want to be a teacher. So thanks to those kids too. Thank you guys all, and my kids.
Next graduate in attendance is Joan Willow. And Joan has gotten her Master of Arts in Education in Curriculum and Instruction.
My mom's right here, Lucy Willow. She did a lot for me.
What's that?
My mom, Lucy Willow, she's like the teacher. She should be the one getting a degree because she does everything for everybody. My sister's back here. I wouldn't have to do it without them because every time something happens, they're always there for me. And you never do anything by yourself because somebody's always there all the time. And my little granddaughter's right here. I wasn't gonna come today, but I said, well, I better because it's a circle and it's a completion, but it's really not a completion because life goes on. Things happen. We're never gonna stop learning. And I thank Dr. Rush for helping me through, pushing me through that Native American certification. And everybody here, thank you.
Finally, we have Jennifer Schaff here today. Jennifer completed her Master of Public Administration. Jennifer used to be a colleague with the university and the College of Agriculture, and is now working at the Wyoming State Training School. Jennifer.
Hello, dos, hola. It's nice to see everybody here. I wanted to thank the University of Wyoming. I graduated with my bachelor's degree program from the University of Wyoming in 2000. And then I started working for the Cooperative Extension Service right away. And one of the things that inspired me to go back to school to get my master's was the excellent leadership and the program for which I worked with, which was the Sensible Nutrition Program. And that's where I met Amy. And even though I left the Sensible Nutrition Program last year, I have to say that the University of Wyoming has continued to provide me with opportunities that I didn't think I would have. For instance, when I took my new job, my colleagues were not necessarily in my interview committee. So my colleagues were a little nervous about who's this person who's going to come see me and work with us. They were very nervous. But fortunately, because of our small community, my colleagues also knew Amy, and they asked her, you know, what's this Jennifer like? And they said, oh, she's great, you're gonna love Jennifer. So I have a very huge thank you to Amy McClure for all of her support, for all the things that I had to go through to get my master's degree, because I started this in 2006. And I have to thank the university for having it a benefit that while I worked for them, they paid for some of my tuition, so that was really good too. But most of my thanks also goes to my husband for being patient with me. When, you know, every time I said, oh, let's have McDonald's tonight because I have to do my homework. Or to my son who said, Mom, are you going to be at my soccer game? And I said, no, honey, this is an intensive weekend. I have to go to Laramie again. And to my parents and my sister who took care of my son while I was gone, and my family while I was gone, so that I could achieve my master's program. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But most of all, I'd like to thank everybody who's here, because the whole reason why I got into the Masters of Public Administration was because I truly believe in the service to our communities. And as I work with migrant families to working on the Wind River Indian Reservation, and now I work with people with developmental disabilities, people are people wherever you go. And as Dr. Rush said, our business is mankind, so service to our communities is the most important. Thank you so much.
And some closing remarks from Dr. Agard.
Now, I prepared several pages, so I hope you're ready for quite a long... No? No? Okay, well, I guess I'll cut it a little short then. I am deeply, deeply honored to be in the presence of such remarkable graduates. As I contemplated what I could possibly share with you today that might be inspiring and would give you credit for all your hard work, dedication, and sacrifice, I was drawn to one of my favorite poems. It's by Robert Frost, and it's titled The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other just as fair, and perhaps having a better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I marked the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference. When you embarked on your quest for a college education, you started down the road less traveled by. Whatever your goals were for getting a college education, either personal or career, you chose your way down that road, sometimes clearing brush and trees that had fallen in your path. Your choice to take that road has and will make all the difference in your life. If your journey was like mine, there were times that you wondered if all the work sacrifice, and time were really worth it. Let me assure you, it was. Graduates, your decision to choose the road less traveled required significant courage. However, your journey is not over. It is the beginning of your new journey as a college graduate. This is the beginning of your education, not the end. Remember the legacy that you are leaving for those around you. Take the time to look for significance in what you are doing. Build relationships with those around you. Follow your aspirations and lead on with courage, and you will be able to say, as Robert Frost says in the poem, "And I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." Congratulations on your achievement, and thank you for letting me be a part of your celebration.
We just have a little token of our appreciation for you as students, along with a diploma jacket, and the congratulations of our folks from Laramie. So we will start with Flora Dewey, Bachelor of Arts in Social Science. There are some steps on the sides here too that could make it easier for you guys. Bachelor of Arts in Social Science, Kelly Jones. Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Cassie Holdred. Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Monica Knowles. Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education, Miss Mary Kilgore. Master of Arts in Education and Curriculum and Instruction, Joan Willow. Master of Public Administration, Jennifer Schaff. All right, let's give the graduates a round of applause. Okay, we're going to move across the hall over into the Fremont room for some refreshments. Please eat up and be happy to take some cake home. And anyway, let's just go enjoy ourselves across the hall.